The following stories are based on personal experiences and opinions. Names and details may be changed to protect privacy. The content is for entertainment purposes only.
Trauma, betrayal, and the stories you won't believe.
Welcome back to the podcast. If you're new here, we're so glad to have you. This is where real stories meet a little bit of chaos and a whole lot of truth. Today, we're going to start with Elise, and I can't wait to hear her story. Elise, go ahead and tell us.
Well, this story is it's hard to talk about because it's something that shouldn't happen, but I feel like it must be happening to more people than just me. So I wanted to share the story to bring awareness to any women out there who have maybe shared a photo to somebody that they're dating, and it's come back to backfire on them, or maybe they're considering sending photos and they haven't yet. Hopefully this story will put a halt to them doing that.
Yeah.
So I dated a guy who kept nude photos of me or like sexy pictures of me in lingerie. And after we broke up and things got ugly, he would threaten to share them. And the part that is really sad is that I sent them to him willingly, and him threatening to share them, there was literally nothing I could do about it. So when you love somebody, you obviously trust them. You share parts of yourself because you obviously, physically and emotionally, you feel safe with that person.
Yeah, and you're being intimate.
Yeah, and he'd be like, oh, I miss you, I love you, I want to see like a sexy picture of you. And I cannot be the only one that's done this. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of people out there that send, photos, sexy, selfies, whatever the case may be. So I would send him lingerie pictures, and I didn't even think twice about it, honestly.
Was this before Snapchat?
Yes, this is before Snapchat.
So this is very common nowadays, I think. So
With
this
Snapchat.
So this is going to be huge for our audience members, that are going through it, because I know Snapchat is used a lot for that. So I'm so glad you're talking about it.
Okay, well, this is before Snapchat.
Yeah.
Before, I think, this is probably when only Facebook was a thing, honestly. I don't think Instagram was around yet.
Yeah.
And so, I would send them through text message. I did not send them through Facebook, but it was definitely through text message. But, it started after we broke up, and he'd be like, well, I still have those photos of you. So it started off by him saying, I still have those photos of you. And I kind of just brushed it off like, whatever, big deal. But he kept on bringing it up. Obviously, this is after we broke up, and he would say things like, don't test me. I'm going to share them with people. Like, I'm going to post them all over Facebook.
Oh, my God.
And he would kept on threatening me with these photos, and he knew exactly what he was doing. He was holding control, that he had the power, and I was so worried about these photos. I didn't want them getting out on the internet, obviously.
Right.
And so even though he never had pressed send at that time, it was still, in my opinion, an act of violence, like digitally, like trying to manipulate me emotionally, that he might send them out. And so I was terrified.
That's scary, yeah.
Yeah. So when I finally reached out for help, I thought that the law would be able to protect me, Like, oh, he's threatening to share these photos of me. I had all the text messages. I had all of the threats. He is basically stalking me with threatening me, right?
Yeah.
He would not leave me alone. We were broken up at the time. He kept on harassing me that he was going to share these photos. And instead of them being able to help me, unfortunately, they told me the same thing over and over again. And they told me that you sent them to him voluntarily, and as long as he hadn't shared them yet, there was literally nothing they could do about it. So here I am, a young girl. I had obviously sent these photos to my boyfriend at the time, and now I'm like terrified that they're going to be leaked all over the internet. He's going to share them with people, and he used that to manipulate me to get back with him multiple times. I would be like, well, maybe if I'm nice to him, he won't share them, or, I'd have to keep talking to him over these photos. And it was horrible.
Yeah.
But that was a loophole that he had. It was the fact that I had sent them to him. So until he actually shared them, there's nothing that can be done. And to me, that's scary, because once they're shared, they're out there, right?
Yeah, everyone can have them.
Yeah, so there's no way to stop him or prevent him from doing it because I shared them to him.
Right.
So I feel like to bring awareness to people out there, it's like obviously every state is a little different. So I don't know all the laws everywhere. I just know that here, that obviously I shared those photos to him, and we're in Washington. So because we're in Washington, I shared those to him, and until he shared those photos out, there was nothing that could be done. And I just feel like that is a really scary place to be in.
That's so scary.
Right? So if you or someone is going through something like this, you want to document everything, because in the event someone does share photos of you, or is stalking you or harassing you, I mean, you still need to be reporting it.
Yeah.
So obviously you want to tell somebody you trust. In my case, he never actually shared those photos.
Good.
Thank God.
Yeah.
But he did use them as a form of manipulation and kept me around for longer than I should have stayed with him.
Yeah.
And it was just horrible because obviously I was terrified about it, like I said. And I just don't want anyone out there to share photos and then later regret it.
Right.
Because that person will have them, and it is an embarrassing feeling, and it's a sense of control that they have.
Yeah.
So what I have learned from this is that you can't control what someone might do, but you can control what you do next.
Yeah.
And so for me, I stopped letting the fear silence me, because that silence gave him power, and he was trying to shame me and using that power against me. So if someone ever threatens you with your own body, that says everything about them and nothing about you. So I just want everyone out there to know that I did survive this. He did not release those photos. Had he did release those photos, I mean, I'm sure, obviously, I would have pressed charges and done things, but he didn't.
Yeah. How old were you?
In my 20s.
Okay. And what, I know you're not going to say the name, what bad red flag relationship was this one?
This was the guy that was married.
Oh my God. So him, how could he juggle so much and then on top of that try to keep you with, photos you had sent still? Like, how do you have so much energy?
I don't know. How do you have so much time and energy to
Yes.
put into me, your wife, your business. Your life? Like, I don't know. He's just running his phone nonstop.
Yeah.
Blowing me up all day, blowing up everybody.
Do you think he still has these photos?
Probably.
Has he ever mentioned them? Have you talked to him like in the last 5 years?
Not in the last 5 years, no.
And so he hasn't reached out at all?
Not in the last 5 years.
Okay. Gosh.
I don't think. Maybe the last 10.
Yeah, that is just so scary because your photos are still probably with him because he's that kind of creepy dude. He is that kind of guy that likes multiple women, so I'm sure he uses those. What do they call it? Like I saw it on the movie photo bait or something. It's like they're, when they go to
Clickbait?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or it's like Pound Town or something like this. It's like when they want to masturbate, they go to their old photos of girls they've been with. So they have
really?
they have like a photo album that's hidden in their library of all these girls they've been with prior. And so you could be in there. And that's such a good lesson to teach right now. Like all of this is. But
I was young and hot, so I could definitely see him wanting to go back to him. But
yeah. Was your face in these photos too?
Yes, my face.
Oh my gosh. That's so scary because he could even release them now.
It's disgusting.
Yeah. What do you think if he did that? What power and what rights do you have if he were to do that today?
Well, I would say that now, because I'm a lot older and well established, I definitely have the money to get a great lawyer. So before, I was just a young kid, I had no clue what was happening. So he would definitely, I don't know the laws, obviously, still till this day.
Yeah.
But of course, he would probably get in trouble. You can't release photos of somebody else.
Okay. Well, that's
But I
good
didn't
to
look
know.
up the laws or anything.
Yeah.
And I am not a lawyer, so I don't want to give anyone legal advice.
Right.
I could probably ask ChatGPT.
What are our best friend?
Yeah. What are the laws against this?
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's got to be laws against it and repercussions for actions, but I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
I highly doubt he would release them now because, it's literally been, 20 years?
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be ridiculous.
Hopefully he doesn't have them anymore.
I hope he's still not obsessed with me.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. Because how could you not be?
Right.
Yeah.
But either way, I wanted to make sure that this story is out there because like what you were saying, I didn't think of Snapchat. But yeah, there are a lot of young girls out there. And even though Snapchat, supposedly it goes there and it goes away, people can still screenshot it. You can still save those photos. There are still ways to save Snapchat things.
And you know what else they do on there? So like they'll use another phone to videotape or take a picture of what someone sent them. Because if you like take a screenshot, it notifies the other person.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of doing that, they'll take like their friend's phone and take a video or a photo. And so literally you think something's going to vanish or you'll be notified if someone takes a screenshot. You won't because likely their friend will, or likely they have an iPad or something else or an iPod that will take a picture or a video and keep that like forever.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, moral of the story, don't send nudes.
No, absolutely not. I
Yeah.
feel like that you just don't want it out there unless you're okay with your photos being shared in the future, don't send it.
Yeah. Wow.
Like the same lesson my mom gave me about don't loan money unless you never want to get it back.
Yep.
Don't send the photos unless you don't care who sees them.
Yeah.
Unless you literally just don't care whose
Right.
eyes are on those photos, I would recommend not sending them.
Yeah.
Right? Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's fair game at that point.
Yeah, and it's also crazy because he's someone you had trusted. Like your body, your life, your emotions, your mentality, like your entire being went into that relationship and believing in him. And you gave all of yourself to that person during that time in your life. And then for him to turn it around, even like a year later or whatever, to try and like get you back and hold you hostage for something that you did to be a good, what you thought was like a good gesture of like as a girlfriend would do, right? Like, sure, you miss me. I'd love to send these to you. You were doing what you think is the right thing at the time. And he just, being the red flag and asshole that he is, used it against you.
Oh, he used everything against me
Yeah.
to manipulate me, to hurt me, to make me feel like I was trapped in that relationship.
I'm so glad that you shared this story because I know there's so many more and like even violent ones that, you know, you have with him. So it's really good that you're sharing this one as well because this is huge right now with what's going on with young people, you know,
Well,
and
that's what's
maybe even
scary.
people our age still. Maybe they don't even know, but yeah, this is huge.
Well, if you're listening and this story resonates with you, share it. But not for me, but for the next girl that's being told that there's nothing that can be done. Because the more we talk about it, the harder it becomes for people to shame you and use these things as weapons. So thank you for listening. And remember, your worth is never up for negotiation.
Ooh, I love that. Yes. Good lesson today. I love that, Elise.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
I have lots more coming. Ones I can hopefully remember.
Yeah.
Okay, Kristina, tell me, what did your husband's ex do this time? I'm dying to hear.
Yeah. So this episode, or, you know, this X-File is going to be a little bit different because I haven't talked about the restraining order that we had, but I'm going to talk about what happened during the time we had it.
Okay.
So I'm kind of going backwards. So I should probably have shared the story of how we got the restraining order, but that'll come at a later time because it's a long one and there's a lot to go through with that one and unpack. But I'm just going to tell you about the Cul-De-Sac standoff. So,
Oh, geez. Here we go.
yeah. So me, my husband, and all four of the kids, we lived in a cul-de-sac at the end of a road in a really cute town in Washington State. And at the time, we had a active restraining order. Me, my husband, and our two kids together against his ex-wife. And the restraining order read that she has to remain 250 feet away from all of us at any given time, like constantly just 250 feet away. So, and with that being said, because this is like a legal thing, I just want to make sure I give a disclaimer that this is my personal experience and perspective, and it reflects how events felt to me and what I was told at the time, and this is all alleged, okay? So imagine having a restraining order in place and your husband ex parks outside your home for hours, exactly 250 feet away, refusing to leave, demanding that her kids come out. Because at the time that this happened, it was our residential time. But she decided to come that day and park exactly 250 feet. And the reason I know this is because I had previously taken a measuring tape to make sure she doesn't cross this boundary. Because when we got the restraining order, I was so grateful because there's so many times I'd look out and that person would be there, you know? And so when we had
That's just weird right there.
it was so fucking weird. I mean, it was everywhere I'd go. But when we finally got the restraining order, I was like, thank God. So I remember putting a piece of black tape, you know, it was like the silver black tape on our pavement out front because we're in a cul-de-sac and it was kind of lined up with our mailboxes. But I was able to see like, okay, well, she can't pass this line. Like, I'm on it, you know? So I remember that day we had all four kids. It was our day. So imagine having that restraining order in place. You look out, all the kids are with you, you're by yourself, your husband's at work, and you see her vehicle outside. What would you do? Would you call the police?
Oh, yeah, I'd call the
What
police.
would you do?
I'd call the police and report it. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what I wanted to do. Naturally, I'm supposed to do that, to report it, right? But because the two boys are there, like, I don't want their mom, like, getting arrested in front of them, right? And I also don't want things to happen that shouldn't have to, like, happen. I'm like, why are you even here? Like, what are you doing, right? So we had a permanent order, as you know. And since my husband was at work, I had called our attorney instead of the local police station And I was like, I don't know what to do. The kids see her out there. They want to go outside and say hi to their mom, which is such a hard thing for me to say no to. And she's not legally supposed to be here. And she's legally like just about to cross the line. And she's been here for 2 hours now. And he's like, you need to call the police right now. This needs to be documented. It needs to be on the restraining order report. The police will come and tell her to leave. But I honestly I didn't want that to happen. And the boys were already crying because they were like, please don't. Because I had I was in the office, and when I talked to the attorney, it was on speakerphone. The door had been opened. They were out in the like playroom, and they had heard like, you need to call the police. So I shut the door. I didn't know he was going to say that. I shut the door, but they heard that. They started crying, and they're like, oh no, don't call the police on my mom. And so I came out, and after I got off the phone, I was like, I'm not going to call the police. Don't worry. Your mom's not getting arrested. I think she's just confused. I don't think she, I think she thinks that she's supposed to be here today, but she's not. So I like sat there just like trying to figure out what to do. I called my husband. He was in meetings. He couldn't answer. Literally couldn't get a hold of him. It was just me and the kids, right? Mm-hmm. And so I emailed her because I knew that girl was on email instantly. Like if I emailed, she was on it. And I told her clearly in the email, this is not your day. You're sitting outside of our home. You need to leave. And she wrote back within like 30 seconds, I'm not leaving. And I was like, oh my God, what do I do with this?
Like, what did she want? Though she didn't tell you what she was there for?
No. And the crazy thing is I think she wanted me to look bad by looking back. I think that she wanted me to call the police so that it makes me look like I'm the bad person getting their mom arrested. Because she may have not been arrested. They may have just told her to leave, right? But it looks bad because I called police on her. And so then the boys would look at me like, you're the bad person, Yeah. And that could have been her goal. I don't honestly still know. But inside the house, like the boys were crying and they were begging me to go outside. Like they wanted to go outside so bad. But our attorney at the time, he was like, do not let them go out. I don't know if she's trying to abduct. I don't know what this situation is.
Yeah, no one knows her goal of being there. Like, what's the purpose of her being there? What's the goal here?
It's not her residential day. There was no event happening. There was no reason for her to be there. She should have been at work. I'm not sure why she wasn't. And she sat there for 2 hours at that point. And he's like, do not let those kids go out. And so I'm like, you guys can't go outside. And I was terrified that if they did, she'd honestly just take them. So I pulled the blinds and I locked the doors and I tried to keep them calm. And I was like, please go upstairs, play in the bonus room. Don't worry. This isn't your fault. It's not her fault. She's probably just confused. We'll sort it out. Mm-hmm. She's not going to get arrested. Don't worry. But they were so scared. They honestly just were like terrified. They didn't understand what was happening. And they didn't want anything bad to happen to their mom. And of course I didn't either. That's the last thing that I want to do is have to call the police. Even though our attorney advised it, and it's probably what I should have done looking back, I just honestly wanted her to leave. So after nearly 3 hours and 45 minutes, literally a standoff went on, she finally drove away, and not in the quiet way. She fucking floored it. And we have neighbors. One of them was we call it a crazy neighbor. She was always trying to kill our dog, but or run over the kids' crayons, the chalk crayons. Yeah. She was nuts. She floored it. Her tires were screeching, smoke pouring from her wheels. She made a whole spectacle in my cul-de-sac as if to etch the moment into the boys' memory. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like trying to make a statement. And that's what broke my heart the most, is they saw her crying too. Like she was crying, acting like I was withholding the kids. Like it was just some huge production. Like, why go through all of that? Why plan that? Did you wake up wanting to do this? Did you go to bed thinking about it? Was this something what was your whole point of doing it? I don't know. But they did. They saw her crying and her acting like a victim. Like, I can't see my boys. They can't even come say hi. They're supposed to be with me. I don't know what her intentions were. And all I was trying to do is just keep them safe. And to this day, that memory probably paints me as the bad guy. Really. It might. Like, I remember them saying, don't call the police, don't call the police. And if I was a kid and I'm having to tell someone not to call the police on my mom, that person's a bad person to me. Yeah. So absolutely. It worked. It worked for her in that moment, right?
But she didn't have a reason to be there. It's not like she's like, oh, something's wrong. Can I see the kids? It's like, no, she just wanted to be there to disrupt your day.
Yeah. And and it's just crazy because we even had a restraining order. So it's like, how much are you going to do to press the boundary of that restraining order. Like, we already had enough evidence. And by the way, this wasn't just like a 6-month or a 12-month. This is a court-ordered permanent restraining order. Like, never lifts because of how much evidence we had and how deep it went and how many years had gone by and how it affected every single person in the family. My husband and our 2 kids, right? So this was a permanent restraining order with no expiration date. So for her to feel that confident to do something like that is scary.
Yeah, so scary.
But the truth is, you know, like, she orchestrated the entire scene. She knew what she was doing, and she knew what she wanted me to look like. She knew their dad would be gone. You know, and the lesson that, you know, I take from this is, you know, sometimes doing the right thing makes you look like the villain. Like, I did the right thing. I didn't let them leave. I didn't let them go out. Who knows what could have happened that day? Because if you're in that mental place, like, maybe she could have taken them. Maybe she could have went out of state. Maybe she could have went out of the country. Who knows?
Right.
You know, maybe she didn't like the restraining order and she just wanted to take off with them, you know? And especially when manipulation is part of the game, which was her game always. But protecting the kids, even when it hurts, watching them cry, watching them watch their mom cry, you know, will always be the right choice in the end. You know, you have to keep them safe. You have to have those boundaries. You have to reinstill, like, and be the bigger person and say, I think she's confused. I think he's confused. Whatever the case, like, your parent is not in the wrong. It's okay. You know, I'm not going to call the police. It's okay. They're probably just thinking it's their day. You know, instead of doing, you know, what you really want to do and what you really probably legally should be doing. But, and I'm not saying don't go against, you know, the law, you know, and what your rights are as a parent to protect the peace. But my choice that day painted me now as the bigger person. And the person that kept my calm, and the person that didn't allow them to leave but still protected their mom at the same time by justifying her actions every time, always, and trying to show them that we're united, she's just confused, you know, like, kind of thing. So my advice to anyone going through, like, a blended family dynamic where a parent acts out or does these things is do not, no matter how much you want to, talk shit about the other parent and say, why the fuck is your mom here? Like, she has lost her mind. I mean, I could have said all these things, like, she's not even supposed to be here today. Like, I will call the police. She needs to leave. You shouldn't be crying. She needs to go. Like, you're, you know, like, I could have done a whole lot of things and said a whole lot of things, but I became a nurturer and I became an empath. And
well, and you did the right thing, though. You called your attorney and you followed your attorney's advice.
Yeah.
Which was the right thing to do.
Lock the doors, shut the blinds.
Yeah, I mean, if there was a different situation and she was, you know, someone that had been known for violence maybe or other things, I don't think her past was necessarily violence. It was just more stalking and harassing and things like that.
Yeah.
But if it was like violence, then I think you would have had to call the cops regardless
for safety.
Yeah, for safety purposes.
I'm glad you brought that up because I don't want anyone to ignore that part. Like,
yeah.
If there's a history with your safety.
Yeah, if there's a history, that's what I wanted to make sure we address. Because, like, sometimes your restraining order could also be because of safety. And if that's the case, then I don't think you should hesitate to call the cops.
Yeah.
Whether it makes you look bad or not.
Don't be the bigger person in that situation.
No,
be the safe person.
Yeah, be safe for
definitely
everybody.
Call the
cops.
But
she was just more known for, like, harassing and stalking and impersonating you. I mean, there's a whole lot. But
yeah.
I don't
trying
think
to be me.
Yeah. But I don't think she was trying to, like, hurt you or the kids.
No. She's just trying to make me look bad.
Yeah.
You know, and she succeeded that day. But, you know, obviously, over time, you know, the truth prevailed. They got older. They remembered. And they still remember till this day. Like, they're still confused. They're like, why'd she do that, you know? So, in the end, you do look like the bigger parent, the better parent, by choosing to be that parent, you know? Not going to their level and not succumbing to what they want you to do.
And just protecting your kids the best way that you can at the time. And you did do that. You protected those kids with what your attorney told you to do, and you protected them by obviously looking like the bad person by still not, you know, saying negative things about their mom.
Yes.
So you still protected them, even though
absolutely.
It made you look bad.
Yeah. Yep. So that's my story for today. And is there any more takeaways on that one besides the violence thing? I'm glad you covered the violence thing, because I never want to make light of a restraining order and, like, going against what my attorney did say, call the police, you know, but I knew we were not at risk in our safety, so I didn't. But I definitely want to emphasize what you said about like the violence thing and the history with that, and knowing if you should call the police, you definitely should call.
Well, I would just say, because of all of my past of not trusting my gut, I would say if anyone's dealing with that situation, you have to trust your gut and your previous experience with that person. You know, like if they have a past of like anger issues, or they do have a, maybe a temper. I mean, maybe they haven't been violent in the past, but maybe they are known to possibly be violent. You are going to be the best judge of the situation you're in. And so you got to make the judgment call for your well-being and the kids' well-being and the situation that you're in. So I think that at that point in time, you got to trust your gut and go with what's best for you and your family.
I love that. That's exactly spot on, and a safe call, and exactly what the kids would need, or a blended family situation would need in general.
Well, I mean, I don't know. If I don't always have the best advice, but that's just what I would say, right?
Yeah.
You got to do what's best for you and your family and protecting your kids.
Yeah, and you learn to trust your gut over the years. So did I. Yeah, you'll know. You'll definitely know. Like when you're in that situation, your gut will tell you. Like, hey, this person's been violent. I'm definitely calling the police. Or, hey, this person's just looking to make me look bad. I'm definitely going to close the door and shut my blinds.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so we hope today's story reminded you that healing isn't linear, but it's always possible. If you felt seen, heard, or inspired, share this episode with someone who needs it. You are not alone, and your story matters too. So if you have one, please be sure to email us or submit it, DM us, whatever the case. We want to hear it, relate, help anyone heal, and turn your chaos into gold.
Thanks for tuning in to our X-Files. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.
If you've got a wild story about your ex, we want to hear about it. Send us your anonymous submission through the link in our bio to be featured on a future episode.
The crazier, the better. And don't worry, your identity is safe with us. Until next time, keep those X-Files coming. Bye.
Bye.